رونق عهد شباب است دگر بستان را، میرسد مژده گل بلبل خوش الحان را. ای صبا گر به جوانان چمن باز رسی، خدمت ما برسان سرو و گل و ریحان را. گر چنین جلوه کند مغ بچه باده فروش، خاکروب در میخانه کنم مژگان را. ای که بر مه کشی از عنبر سارا چوگان، مضطرب حال مگردان من سرگردان را. ترسم این قوم که بر درد کشان میخندند، در سر کار خرابات کنند ایمان را. یار مردان خدا باش که در کشتی نوح هست خاکی که به آبی نخرد طوفان را. برو از خانه گردون به در و نان مطلب، کان سیه کاسه در آخر بکشد مهمان را. هر که را خوابگه آخر مشتی خاک است، گو چه حاجت که به افلاک کشی ایوان را. ماه کنعانی من مسند مصر آن تو شد، وقت آن است که بدرود کنی زندان را. حافظا می خور و رندی کن و خوش باش، ولی دام تزویر مکن چون دگران قرآن را.
The garden blooms anew with youth's bright grace. The nightingale brings glad news to embrace. O gentle breeze, if you to me return, convey my love to cypress, rose, and fern. Should wine cellars face such charm display, I'd sweep the tavern floor with lashes sway. O you who strike the moon with amber staff, disturb not this lost heart's wandering path. I fear the crowd who mock the lover's pain. Their faith may wane within the tavern's reign. Befriend the men of God, for in the ark, dust stands firm, unshaken by the dark. Seek not bread from heaven's revolving door. That black cup brings the guest no peace, but more. Who rests at last in dust, a humble bed, what need to raise a palace overhead? My Canaan moon, Egypt's throne is thine. Now break the chains, let freedom's light shine. Hafez, drink wine, be joyful, and be free, but never twist the Qur'an's purity. Once again, the warmth and goodness of youth has returned to the garden and the orchard, and to the singing nightingale, the good news of the arrival of the flower arrives. The garden and orchard have made our youthful days prosperous, and its market has become hot. The well-spoken poet receives the good news of the flower, or meeting and connecting with the beloved. O Saba, if you reach the freshly grown grasses, send our greetings and devotion to cedar, flowers, and basil. The youth of the lawn can be the same cypress and rose trees and green and fragrant green plants that have just grown after winter, and the young people who are busy watching and enjoying themselves in the garden and the lawn with the prosperity of the youth era. If the winemaker and bartender, he will appear and pass, as it does now. I turn my eyelashes into a broom for the tavern and become a servant in the tavern and do all kinds of services with my heart and soul. O beloved, you have poured your black and twisted hair on your face like a polo stick, as if you have thrown the ball towards the moon in a polo game. Don't make me distraught and anxious by showing your beautiful face and moving your hair to and fro. He says sarcastically, I am afraid that the group that laugh at the drinkers and make fun of them will eventually lose their faith because of their debauchery. The concept that the poet seeks to convey in this verse is the refusal of pleasure that may involve a person in a storm. In the first stanza, the poet invites the audience to accompany God's companions, and in the second stanza, he explains that if you want to board Noah's Ark and be away from the flood and calamity, you must endure the lack of water like a soil or a human being who is made of dust, so that you do not get caught in the flood because of the desire for water, and you must be restrained and pious. The men of God are aware of the fear of the flood and do not put themselves in danger of getting off Noah's Ark and losing the company of God's companions with fleeting pleasures. Get out of the house of this world and do not ask for bread and sustenance, because this guest killer will eventually kill his guest. What is meant is that you should not hope and expect loyalty from the world, and you should not trust the world's wealth and status. Everyone is finally asleep in his afterlife, under a handful of dirt, and eventually one day he will die. What is the need to build your palace and porch up to the height of the sky? Because in the end, all of this is destruction. Therefore, the great effort to build luxurious houses and colorful gardens is the result of madness, because it is in fact for others, and in everyone must leave their possessions when they die. O Joseph of my Canaanite, the throne of my existence became for you. It means that you have become the owner of my heart. So it is time for you to release my sad soul and heart from the prison of separation. O Hafez, drink wine and have fun, but do not use the Qur'an as a trap for deceit, deception, and falsehood. Because hypocrisy is kufr and haram, and any kind of sin that exists in the world is bad, but hypocrisy is worse than all of them. Cognitive metaphors and terms in Hafez's ninth ghazal. 1. Garden or bostan, in spring, youth. Meaning, the garden symbolizes the world or life itself. Spring represents youth, renewal, and vitality. Why used? Just as spring revives the garden with flowers and life, youth is a time of beauty and energy. This metaphor expresses the idea of a fresh start or flourishing time in life and spirituality. 2. Nightingale or bulbul and rose. Meaning, the nightingale is the lover or seeker, the rose is the beloved or divine beauty. Why used? The nightingale's song is a metaphor for the soul's longing for union with the divine, the rose. This pairing is a classic Persian symbol of love and spiritual yearning. 3. Breeze or saba as messenger. Meaning, the breeze is a metaphor for a spiritual messenger or inspiration. Why used? The breeze carries messages from the divine or nature to the poet and others. It symbolizes the gentle, unseen communication of spiritual truths. 4. Cypress, rose, and basil. Meanings: cypress symbolizes uprightness, freedom, and dignity. Rose, divine beauty and perfection. Basil, spiritual blessing and fragrance. Why used? These plants represent spiritual virtues and ideals. The poet asks the breeze to convey his humble service to these symbols of beauty and virtue. 5. Wine cellar and tavern. Meaning: wine cellar, metaphor for God, spiritual guide, or beloved who offers divine love. Tavern, a place of spiritual awakening and ecstasy, often opposed to rigid religious. Why used? Wine here means divine love or spiritual intoxication, not literal alcohol. The tavern is a symbol of a mystical place where true spiritual experience happens beyond formal religion. 6. Sweeping with eyelashes. Meaning: an impossible act symbolizing extreme humility and devotion. Why used? The poet expresses his willingness to serve the divine or the spiritual realm with utmost dedication, even through impossible means. 7. Polo player and moon. Meaning: moon, symbol of beauty or beloved face. Polo, a royal game symbolizing control or mastery. Why used? The metaphor describes someone skillfully interacting with divine beauty or fate. The poet asks not to be disturbed in his confused spiritual state, which is valued in Sufi tradition as part of the mystical journey. 8. Mockers and tavern. Meaning: people who mock lovers of God and spiritual seekers. Why used? The tavern symbolizes spiritual truth and ecstasy. Mockers represent rigid religious or hypocrisy who fail to understand true spirituality. 9. Noah's Ark. Meaning: symbol of divine salvation and protection amid chaos. Why used? The ark represents the spiritual refuge and guidance that saves faithful souls from destruction. Brief story. In the Bible and Qur'an, Noah builds an ark to save his family and animals from a great flood sent by God to cleanse the world of wickedness. The ark symbolizes safety and hope amid disaster. 10. House of the turning sky. Meaning: the sky or cosmos as a metaphor for fate or worldly fortune. Why used? The turning sky shows the ever-changing, unpredictable nature of fate. The poet warns against relying on worldly fortune, which ultimately leads to death. 11. Dust and palace. Meaning: dust symbolizes death and human mortality. Palace symbolizes worldly ambition and material success. Why used? The metaphor contrasts the fleeting nature of worldly achievements with the inevitability of death, encouraging spiritual humility. 12. Canaanite moon. Meaning, refers to Joseph or Yusuf, famous for his beauty and spiritual purity. Why used? Joseph's story symbolizes spiritual ascent from imprisonment and hardship to honor and freedom. 13. Egyptian throne. Meaning, symbolizes spiritual authority, divine favor, and power to influence the world positively. Why used? Joseph rose to power in Egypt after his trials, showing that spiritual perseverance leads to divine reward and leadership. 14. Prison and freedom. Meaning, prison, worldly or spiritual bondage. Freedom, spiritual liberation and enlightenment. Why used? The metaphor urges breaking free from limitations and attachments to achieve true spiritual freedom. 15. Wine and vagabond. Meaning, wine, divine love and spiritual ecstasy. Vagabond, a free-spirited seeker who rejects rigid religious rules. Why used? Hafez encourages joyful, free spiritual living, emphasizing personal experience over formalism. 16. Qur'an as a tool of deceit. Meaning, criticism of those who misuse sacred texts for hypocrisy or personal gain. Why used? Hafez warns against religious hypocrisy, emphasizing sincere spirituality over outward appearances. Additional brief explanations of stories. Noah's Ark. Noah was a prophet who lived in a corrupt world. God commanded him to build a large ship, or ark, to save his family and pairs of animals from a great flood meant to cleanse the earth. The ark is a metaphor for salvation and divine protection amid chaos and destruction. Joseph's or Yusuf's imprisonment and rise. Joseph, known for his beauty and wisdom, was betrayed by his brothers and sold into slavery. He was later imprisoned unjustly but interpreted dreams that led to his release and appointment as a powerful leader in Egypt. His story symbolizes spiritual purity, patience, and eventual triumph over hardship. What does freedom mean to you? Answer this question in the comments section. We would like to know the opinion of each and every one of you. Now, we have come to the end of this episode. Thank you for being with me until the end of the video. Thank you for liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Be sure to share your valuable opinions about the different parts of this video. Be sure to read the description and don't miss it. I have prepared a few more translations for you there for better understanding. Until the next video, goodbye.